Welcome to Grade Pending. We're back with another movie we're going to review. You know how it is. You know how it goes. We just pick some content, some entertainment. Last week we did WandaVision. And this week we're doing the long-awaited and wanted Snyder Cut. Got a couple of new guys here on the panel this time. Like we did last time. We're going to give out individual grades on it first. And the grading system, like I said last time, awesome, dope, meh, and trash. Awesome's top of the top, best of the best, 9 to a 10 number. If you want to give it a number, dope is 7 to 8, meh, 5 to 6, and trash is self-explanatory. It's trash. All righty. So we're gonna go one by one. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention last time, I put it in the video, but there will be spoilers for those who haven't seen it yet. Everything we review will be spoiled if you haven't seen it. By now you should have. So go away if you haven't. Come back and watch it when come back and watch this again when you have, because makes no sense to me to talk about anything that you're not gonna fully talk about. So right now we're gonna go one by one, give our reviews. Everybody's watching, comment, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Tell me what you think.
So I would say this: it is a better alliteration than the last version of this, the Josh Whedon version. I'm gonna keep this real short and real sweet. Batman still ain't got superpowers. For those who don't know, it is funny that while everybody can fly or can run really fast, they all walk with Batman to make him not feel so bad about his life. There's too many damn music videos going on between the Aquaman music video and the Barry Allen music video. Typical Snyder stuff, slow-mo and so forth. I would say he definitely lessened up the grayscale from most of his movies. And I'm not really sure. All right, so I'll say I'm not too sure what really was Snyder's original stuff compared to what we didn't take out or change and so forth. Because to me, he has the advantage of saying it's been 4 years. I've heard the reviews of what people didn't like about so forth. So what can I do to kind of cheat past that and be like, okay, well, y'all didn't like this, I can add this. So he kind of has the unfair advantage of making a do-over for a movie that's already been critiqued and released. So there could be original parts to his stuff, or it could be things he reshot, to try to change up some narrative. And look, that's not really to anyone's dismay. It was a lot longer. It did explain some parts that needed to be explained. There were still some plot holes and so forth, but Steppenwolf, looked more alien, but there was no damn point of having Darkseid in it because everybody knows there's no part 2 to this. And Darkseid didn't even do shit. Like, he really would just he just showed his face. Like, he basically just had Thanos show his face a couple of times and then just fade away. Like, he had a couple of lines. And that kind of just took screenplay away. Like, Steppenwolf was still the enemy in this whole thing. And it would make more sense if they were going to have a part 2. Then I can see, okay, there's a lead into it somehow, some way. The epilogue part was, I'm not even gonna talk about that trash. That whole dream sequence, all right, whatever. All right, Bruce Wayne has things that come to reality. All right, we get that. So he basically just gave us part 2 of this of the whole Snyder Cut. In all of 5 minutes, which that whole movie could have been wrapped up in an hour and a half tops. So with the music videos and the unlimited slow motion that you will have for no reason, I will give definitely a boost to the end fight scene, although Superman made that shit like a cheat code. To me, out of a awesome, dope, man, trash, to me, it's a high meh. It's a high meh, low dope, but I'm going with high meh into that.
I'm gonna give it a meh. Flawless. Took me a day and a half after I had Paul up. He was watching it when I hit him up. 4 hours, it wasn't that bad, but could have been better. It kind of reminded me, watching the movie reminded me how it's like Zack Snyder watched Justice League Unlimited, the cartoons and the movie, and just put it together on in the he took from the animation and put it into the movie, the way how I saw everything complementing each other. Granted, he did character development for some of them. It explained a lot of things I didn't understand from the first movie, and it wasn't bad, but 4 hours is a long time. Mind you, when we all watched Avengers, yeah, 3 hours, that was different. But 4 hours of a movie that was completely trash in the beginning, to do it again, well, no. It's like it's not even like if you're watching like The Hobbits, whatever those, sci-fi books that become into movies. Like it ain't Lord of the Rings, none of that. It's just an underdeveloped movie that could have been better throughout time, but it wasn't. But throughout watching the movie for 4 hours, Bruce Wayne with his dream sequence, which could have been explained more different with the Speed Force. I actually was surprised they even used the Speed Force and they gave these characters the development that they did. But you know what? It was okay. I'm glad they did that, because watching that movie made me forget about his first one, or the first one, not his first one. So it was very surprising. I just wish it could have been in smaller doses, but hey, I'm not picky and I'm not choosing it. So, I'm not gonna just depict the movie for what it is. Meh, it's my decision. And it was okay. It was okay. 4 hours. I don't think I could just stay in my living room and watch it for 4 hours. Thank God I was traveling the whole time I was watching it. But yeah, you know, eh, strong man, very strong man.
Get ready for my review, right? Let me. There we go. So, I when I first saw the 4 hour runtime, I was like, this is ridiculous. 4 hours is bananas. But then I thought about it, and I was like, there are episodes of shows I watched that are hour long, and I can knock out 4 or 5 if they're really good. So I was like, I'll give it a try. But going into it, the first thing I thought was like, you know what? Let me be unbiased. Let me forget the first movie even existed, and let me try to watch this one as a brand new film. And so I'm watching it. I actually don't think it felt like 4 hours, at least for me. I actually enjoyed the film quite a bit. I liked his version. I seen a lot of my friends and I see a lot of people complain about the slow motion. Either they never seen a Zack Snyder film, or they're just not fans of it, or they don't like that thing, whatever the reason is. I love Watchmen. I love 300. Like I fuck with Snyder. I expected that. And it also made sense for some of the scenes, because one of my biggest gripes with Man of Steel, which is another one that I really loved from DC, was like when he fought Zod, it was like in the air and shit, it was too fast. So Snyder slowing it down for some of his fight scenes, for me, was actually a better experience. But for the movie, I actually did enjoy it. I enjoyed how they gave a little piece of each character, try to develop them. I can't speak for the director, but from what it seems like to me is that he did this, even the Dark Side introduction, all that stuff. I think he did it because maybe he's hoping that would, because this is the cancel culture. You could argue and you could change things with enough votes, enough Twitter likes, enough stuff. I'm thinking if enough people like it, they might push for it, and W might green light the second one. I would be down to watch the second one. I did enjoy it. My gripes about the movie are actually very small, and I was surprised, being such a huge Marvel person. I was ready to rip this movie apart. I actually enjoyed it. My gripes are small things. I didn't like, because that it's kind of based off Frank Miller's Dark Knight, his Batman, that version they're using, the bigger, the bulkier the sign. I didn't like his voice at certain parts. His voice is kind of like digital choppy, but it wasn't a huge complaint, nothing big deal. Like I said, I like the way they introduced Dark Side. It made me interested. From the trailers and from the stuff you saw, I thought Steppenwolf's costume looked stupid, because of it looked like he's like Hellraiser, like a bunch of pins. But then when you look at it closely, it's just intertwined. It kind of looks like metallic muscle fibers. It's actually pretty dope. Me not knowing about the DC universe, it made it cool for me. Even like at first, one of my gripes was the Martian Manhunter when they introduced them, and the movie was about to end. I was like, what's the point of introducing him? And then when they rolled him in at the end, it kind of made it seem like, all right, well, yeah, it definitely was like, all right, maybe there might be another one. Maybe we might do a different part. So like I said, I did enjoy it. I like what they added to Aquaman. I like the little backstory they gave Flash. I did like the Flash character and the way he did his stuff. So I didn't mind that as much. I like the film. I like I said, I thought it was good. I'm gonna give it a dope. I was surprised I was able to go watch it for 4 hours with no problem. Not stressing, not worried about nothing, no intermission, just straight watch it through. I definitely enjoyed that. And I would be looking forward to a second one if they did a second one, if they were somehow got that greenlit.
I just want to clear up some misinformation. It's not like Zack redid the movie. I would say about 85% of this was shot in 2017, and all they did was just finish the effects. There was only one reshoot, and it was the epilogue scene with Jared Leto and Batman. That was the only reshoot. Everything else was just finishing the special effects and putting it together and releasing it. So as far as why they were building towards a sequel, they were. This was supposed to be part of a 3-part thing. This was the first part of a 3-part thing. It's supposed to be 5 movies in total to finish the Snyder epic. So there was a lot more stuff to come. It didn't get to come, but it's not like Zack just redid the movie. He just edited, finished the effects, and that was it. This was crazy that this even came out. To be honest with you, the hashtag release the Snyder cut. I remember when it first happened, the Twitter, whatever, I tweeted it. Everybody was tweeting it, whatever, put in support. But the fans rallied behind them. They got billboards, they got planes. The fact that this even happened is insane. This never happens. No studio puts in fucking money on a movie that bombed to finish it. But everything happened for a reason. HBO Max came out. They wanted something big. This had enough hype on the internet, people talking about it. They made it happen. I remember when I was driving home from my sister's house and I saw, I should not have been driving on Twitter, but I was. And I saw that Ben posted release a Snyder cut. I was like, oh shit. If they got the actual stars to do it, they might actually do this thing. And a couple months later, here we are. I've seen the movie twice already. I wanted to be fair. I saw it on Thursday as soon as it came out. I saw it on a 100-inch. The first thing was the aspect ratio. It's not 4:3. It was shot IMAX. Why? Because it was supposed to be released in IMAX back in 2017. It got fucked over. It didn't happen, whatever. But he kept it that way because that's how it was supposed to be. You actually see more of the image. Took it 4 hours to the face. I saw it with another DC fanboy. We loved it. Cool. Then today, I knew I was doing this. I was like, let me watch it one more time with somebody else who hadn't seen it. Watched it. She enjoyed it, and for some reason I liked it even better the second time. Maybe because like I already knew what was going to happen, so I could just focus on what was different and what I enjoyed more about it. I thought it was great, man. If I have to go with the system that we're using here, I'm going to give it a high dope. There was some problems, obviously. This thing is 4 hours because the fans were like, give us everything, every single minute. If you look at Batman vs Superman, when it first came out, it was 2 hours, something like that, 2:15. And then they released the Ultimate Edition, which was 3 hours, and that was for the fans. You could watch it at home, get it on Blu-ray, which I have, whatever, and it's on HBO. This is essentially the same thing, the Ultimate Edition of what would have been his movie had he got to release it in 2017. The fans wanted everything. Do I need to see women singing at Aquaman as he goes into the ocean, sniffing his sweater? No. Could that have been cut? Absolutely. The whole epilogue, is it necessary? No, absolutely not. It definitely tickles the balls for people that wanted to see like what's coming when it's not coming. It's done. It's over. Zack even said that the Justice League is what WB considers canon, but the fans wanted it, so he put it out there, and the movie was great. The action, the Wonder Woman sequence where she was fighting the terrorists in London or Paris, wherever she was, that 10-minute sequence, that super hyper violent sequence where she was killing terrorists in front of little kids, that was better than Wonder Woman 84. The whole thing, and it was 10 minutes. Every time they played her theme, it was just hype. I was, every single time you got hyped. Zack knows how to do his action. The slow motion shit's not for everybody. I get it. Do I need to see Barry slow motion grabbing a hot dog and playing with a girl's hair, Iris's hair? No, but that's Zack. You fuck with her, you don't. And I was watching. I was like, what's he gonna do? Don't be creepy, Barry. Luckily, the hot dog was for the dogs or whatever. It was cool. You guys got to remember, 2017. No Aquaman movie, no Wonder Woman movie yet. This was an introduction to the characters or whatever. So we were supposed to learn more about them later. The Flash movie still has not come out. Aquaman came out, did well. Another one's coming. Wonder Woman had 2 movies already. One of them was terrible. One of them was okay. This was what it was, man. As a lifelong DC fan, to Fenny's point, Justice League Unlimited, this was watching cartoons come to life. Like right after I watched the movie, I popped in Justice League, which is also on HBO Max, and I watched the Darkseid episodes. It was cool. Why was Darkseid there? Because he was supposed to be a bigger part of the next two movies, which is never going to happen. But it was cool to see. It was fucking cool to see. Even though he didn't end up doing anything, it was still cool to see. So definitely high dope. I really was scared. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was going to suck. As much as I was hyping it, I was like, there's no way this thing is going to be good because the other one was so fucking bad. But I didn't realize just how much was all Joss reshoots. Like literally, this movie was 4 hours and we only seen half an hour of it from the original one. The Superman fight, a little bit of the Wonder Woman sequence. Everything else was fucking Russian families and bullshit and fucking stupid, silly jokes and Flash drawing penis faces on like it was. I'm so happy I never have to watch the Justice League again, and I'm happy for Zack. If you guys don't know, his daughter killed herself. That's one of the reasons he had to step away, and the studio was like, all right, he's out. Let's put Joss redo the whole movie. It had to be under 2 hours. There's a reason that last one was a piece of shit, but we're not talking about the past. He did this for Autumn. At the end, it came up for Autumn, and I'm happy he got to do this, man. And for her and for everybody, for all the fans, people don't want to fucking see release a Snyder Cut hashtag on every single WB post going forward. But now I think it's gonna be restore the Snyderverse. It's not gonna happen, guys. It's not. If you like Zack, go watch the new Netflix Army of the Dead movie he's doing. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, definitely high dope. And yeah.
As someone who creates content now, something I started doing about 4 or 5 years ago, I can appreciate that that Zack was able to release his version. So shout out to WB, AT&T, DC for at least honoring the fans. I've said it before, the internet is the new streets, and the thugs wanted the Snyder Cut. And the hashtag went crazy. They honored the fans, the nerds, whatever you want to call them. They got their way, and the Snyder Cut came out. Appreciate him definitely getting it. He stuck to what he wanted to be, kept it in the aspect ratio, made it as long as it is. He did it his way, and because of the world we live in now with the streaming services, he has the benefit of doing that, because this movie would have never made it as is in a theater. 4 hours long wouldn't have happened. So definitely appreciate the you know, this representing the times that we're in now, where creators now can make things that can be consumed at home at your own pace. It was broken up into parts for those that wanted to pause and come back or what have you. You know, definitely appreciate that. Dedicated to his daughter at the end for Autumn. For those, I think Otto spoke on it. Those that don't know, his daughter committed suicide. There's actually a suicide poster in one of the scenes in the movie as well. When Batman and Flash drive off, there's a little shout out on there. So definitely suicide awareness. Yes, big thing. And he got to, you know, I think the biggest thing was basically letting him release it his way. It was kind of them saying we messed up. We messed up. You know, we shouldn't have took your baby and let someone else, you know, touch it. We don't know how much of it was Whedon, how much was the actual Warner Brothers involvement, them saying what to do and having him, hey, do what you did for them over there, you know, Marvel guy, do that for us. And you know, we don't know how much. So I don't like to throw a lot of the blame on Whedon, but we all know about, you know, the involvement from studios and things mess up a lot of movies. Hence why there was an extended cut of Dawn of Justice as well. So this is, you know, we've been here, they had to go through that before. However, I still feel like I did not like the movie. Yes, it was better than the theatrical Joss Whedon version, which I would have considered trash if we were rating back then. So this one is definitely getting a meh, because it's an improvement, it's an upgrade. I feel at the end of the day, if you like Zack Snyder movies, you will like this movie. If you don't like Zack Snyder movies, you will not like this movie. And I myself do not like Zack Snyder movies because he's heavy on the same excessive slow-mo, grayed out color palette, and it's just not for me. And I feel like he needs a Lord of the Rings type epic movie. He needs to do more of a King Arthur, Excalibur type, you know, dragons and witches, and he needs a movie. He needs to do a story like that with his storytelling. I think he'll be perfect for that. It does work in this DC universe. I just didn't enjoy the movies themselves, and that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big Zack Snyder fan. We've spoken about this before numerous times. That's just me. This one, like I said, is getting a meh. It's an improvement on the theatrical version. Gives you a lot more explanation, gives you a lot of backstory, explains a lot of things that were plot holes before. However, it still has a few more for me, a few plot holes now, and I just didn't enjoy it.
I have a question. One of the biggest things, and one of the reasons I really didn't think I was going to like it, is because I knew that the original story, the focus was on Cyborg, and he was the heart of the story. So I'm curious, did you like Cyborg? Because I ended up liking Cyborg. I didn't think I was gonna. I really didn't.
I appreciated Cyborg. Like again, the everything that was fleshed out, I appreciated. It gave more backstory. It just took too long. So I think this cut itself could have been chopped down to 3 hours, and could have been a theatrical release. But I think it just
I agree with that.
Too long, and it was a lot like you said. The final epilogue and things could have been taken out, and especially now that we know it's not getting a sequel because Zack himself said, "Nah, I'm out." But he wanted to have it, so cool, fine. But if for a theatrical version of it, there was a few things that could have been taken out, sped up. We didn't need all the operatic singing in slow mo for Aquaman walking into the water.
You telling me you wouldn't have sniffed his sweater though? Come on,
No.
that guy's Jack, dude. Come on, what are we talking?
I'm good. But I definitely, like I said, it was a lot more explained. Just like the extended version of Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
You got a lot of okay, that was Jimmy. It filled in a lot of gaps. But at the end of the day, I was still like, okay, yeah, it's still the same movie. And even with this one, I think it's the same movie still. A lot of people are saying, the narrative is different. The tone is darker. But at the end of the day, you get from A to B. It just goes in the Snyder, GPS. Whereas
the story points, unfortunately, that's another thing that I want to touch on. When I went into Endgame, I went in
record,
blind.
You are a producer. I want to make
associate producer.
Yeah, you're associate producer. So for those that didn't know, I have a special.
I don't know if you guys can see my associate producer back there, but yeah, I donated.
Which means what though? What does that
I donated
mean?
to the Suicide Foundation for Autumn. This is the Justice League. There's the A for Autumn. So we all, the fans donated, and you get to become an associate producer. Yada yada. Anyway, that's the point.
I don't have my glasses.
Endgame, right?
J and L.
J L, and then the A is right there. It's a little baby L.
We see it.
All right. So anyway, Endgame, right? Endgame. I'm Paul. You know how I am. I'm super hyper anal about fucking trailers and spoilers, right? So Endgame, I went in blind. The only thing I know about Endgame is that they all had the white suits, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, they can do time travel. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
When I went into Endgame, Fat Thor wasn't spoiled for me. Cap versus Cap wasn't spoiled for me. Smart Hulk wasn't spoiled for me. The last fight wasn't spoiled for me. I know when that last fight with the portals, I know I was out of my seat pounding my chest when Cap got to wield Mjolnir, dropped, bro. Whoo! That's what being a fucking nerd is all about. Hyped so good. This fucking piece of shit, because of Joss's and the whole situation. To your point, it's the same story. The plot points. Mother boxes are gonna get got. They're gonna fight Steppenwolf at the end to be continued. Yada yada yada. So it's more like, well, what was the original intention? How was it going to be? How was Bruce going to recruit the league? Yada yada. But for the most part, you knew what it was because that is what it is. So they weren't surprised. Besides that, this has been 2017. It's 2021. Years of people campaigning for this, and all this stuff was already revealed. I knew Martian Manhunter was in it. I knew that it was gonna be about Cyborg. I knew about the Barry scene. Like there was as a fan, there weren't a lot of surprises. I knew about the black suit. So it's just. But I fucking wish if I had seen this version alone back then or whatever, but a little tighter without the stupid epilogue, just a 3 hour, like whatever, just like Endgame, it would have probably been one of my favorite movies, but there was no surprises. So it was just like, all right, that would have been cool. Oh, the Superman versus the League fight, which was the best part that Joss kept in the one, it was spoiled. So it's just like, we got extra scenes of him beating the fuck out of him, but like at the end of the day, is what it is.
That's still the best part of the movie to me.
See, I'm really happy about that. It is, but I'm also happy they restored the correct death of Steppenwolf, which is getting impaled, getting punched in the face, and then Wonder Woman chopping his fucking head off for no reason. For no reason.
Still mad Amazonian girls.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They were hot. They didn't deserve to die. They were
all
shredded.
He literally walked into the scene and said, "Yo, should have been there for your sisters, and your mother got too."
Exactly.
Said, what?
It was a reason.
It was like a yo mama joke that went bad. Yo, my mother. Oh, I'm gonna see you later, Papa. I'm gonna see you right back. And soon as when he got hit, chopped his head off.
That was one of my gripes though, because the scene where they all fight Superman, I did love the obviously without the digital mustache removal, I did love the "you won't let me live, you want me die." Like, do they need? It was a good line. I did like those lines, and the fact that those were some of the hardest lines there.
But the line that followed after that, I bleed. That was bullshit. I don't ever see Batman on the floor making jokes.
It was like wrestling.
I know, but Batman on the floor. Oh, I bleed. Get the fuck out of here. Bruce would never do that.
But another thing I've seen a lot of my friends online, they had problems with the epilogue. I actually didn't have a problem with the epilogue. My biggest beef was I liked Jared Leto's Joker from Suicide Squad, and him still being in the movie but not being that same Joker, I guess bothered me a little bit because his voice changing a little more sensitive. Like he kind of played like his guy from the Little Things. It seemed like
that's exactly what it was. Yeah, he got the long hair and everything.
Yeah, that kind of bothered me a little bit. But I didn't mind it. And Deathstroke's mohawk. I'm not a big DC fan, so I don't know if somewhere in the future he has a mohawk.
No,
But,
for no reason.
My Beautiful Joe does not have a mohawk. That's not how
The epilogue would have been better if it was like a post-credit scene, maybe detached from the movie.
Yeah,
because the weirdest thing is, Deathstroke is on the yacht with Lex saying, "Hey,"
exactly, and then 20 seconds later,
he's fighting with him. Like, wait,
exactly.
Wait,
Yeah. So the original ending, them being on the boat, that was leading to Ben's Batman movie that he dropped out of because he's a fucking alcoholic at the time, before he started pounding Ana de Armas and he felt better. So that's what that was leading
different
towards.
Perception when you're watching it as like a mid-credit scene, post-credit scene, compared to this scene, then this scene, then this scene, like back to back.
Yeah. Another big gripe is
never ending. It's like Martian Manhunter. This and it's like, okay, end the movie already. Like end the movie. We keep saying goodbye. Like
literally,
the way I'm gonna say
the way it was set up. The way it was set up is like how, like I was explaining earlier. If you ever watched just like the Cartoon Network version of the Justice League, even how Martian Manhunter came in, it's how they did it in the movie. So I'm like, you're literally taking the anime, which once again, hey, listen, it was good to see. It literally explained. There was someone else who asked me if I watched the movie. She told me the same thing I was thinking. I barely remember the one that came out in 2017, but all I remember is that explains way more. Now, to Otto's point, yes, we did get an Aquaman, we did get a Wonder Woman. Aquaman did a little bit more better. Wonder Woman was kind of trash in '84, but hey, here we are. That's not the point. The point is, 4 hours, it did better than it was supposed to, despite all the crazy factors. But
how do we feel about Martian Manhunter being in every movie and not doing anything?
Real quick. Martian Manhunter was supposed to be part of it, but he wasn't supposed to be the ending part where he showed up to talk to Bruce. It was supposed to be John Stewart, Black Green Lantern, but WB was like, no, we're gonna do something with him. You can't use him. So Zack was like, all right, I'll give it to Martian Manhunter. But that would have been so much better and more hype.
He was in Man of Steel. And then he just pops up. He was Martha. For no reason.
For no reason. That was bullshit. That
what I'm saying. So he was just
took
around.
away from that scene.
And then he waits to the end, like, oh, y'all need some help? Because
exactly, it's done already.
Oh man, because I was coming. If you needed some help, I was on my way, but y'all got him. So, but call me if you need some backup.
I don't like fire. It was hot. I couldn't,
Pineapples. I wasn't ready. Chill. Hold up.
Right.
Now, I do have a question also, because I'm not a huge DC fan. I never watched Justice Unlimited. I don't like. I like Batman. And that's the end of my DC love. So with Cyborg, he got into a car accident, but his character in the movie is just a corner of his face. So like the rest of his body get destroyed in a car accident. That was a metal chest. That was a robot.
No, he's
the Mother Box did it.
Yeah,
the Mother Box took the rest of his whatever body he had left and transformed it into
okay. So it's not just a head.
Transformed it into him being a cyborg, but it's crazy because there are different versions of each hero and their origins, but that's just the origin they went with that one. Yeah. Because the one back in the 80s, I think half of his body was human and the other half was a cyborg.
Correct.
But the more into the years, they started changing the way he looked, and the only thing that was human about him was just his face.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious.
His backstory definitely did appreciate. There was more purpose for him. There was a lot of, he was the emotion, the only real heart, and
it was the heart. Yeah.
Speaking to the conversation that we had a conversation last week about DC and Marvel, how Marvel characters are more human-like and DC characters more godlike. Cyborg really got a more human story in this movie that again should have been in the original version, because it definitely would have helped. And that was the gripes that the actor had, and another WB backlash.
That's a whole big thing,
yeah. So they could have prevented all that, because it's like, if this was the story, it was like, why would you take it out unless you had something really you didn't want this character to really shine? It sounds like a personal vendetta, because that's the movie. Like, that is the emotional arc of the movie. Him and his father, mom, and the tape recording comes back again, and
him helping out that waitress lady, giving her $100,000 out of nowhere. It shows like It made you
Yeah,
empathize.
actually,
Like this guy's a good
that was a
dude.
good move. Like I did like the aspect of what Cyborg was trying to do. He had all
Mhm.
that information, and with the first chance he got, instead of he was able to destroy the world, but he chose to actually help it out. And just
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
single
I wasn't
thought.
expecting to like him. In my mind,
Right.
Cyborg is Teen Titans, and I don't want to see him on the league. But they made me care about him. He's an adult.
No, they
He did
did.
his thing.
They did.
They
And now,
did a good
Like
job on
over the
that.
years, they've slowly been trying to push him into the league, which I have no
Yep.
idea why.
now we're gonna get the Zack Snyder Justice is Gray version coming soon.
Wow.
Logan
is that
black
gonna
and
be
white.
the same exact movie again in black and white?
Excuse
or-
me, 2 minutes worth of extra Joker scenes. So
Oh.
future, get ready. People are gonna watch it.
So
You got to milk the cow, papa. It's money, right? You got to get the views, get the clicks.
Oh,
If
so-
Logan can do it and Mad Max can do it, then Snyder can do
So-
it, right?
just like I said, I mean, I love Snyder films. I think Watchmen is one of the greatest comic movies ever made. I love Watchmen, but when it comes to the black and white things, don't knock it till you try it, because Mad Max in black and white on a real high def TV looks phenomenal. It looks amazing,
phenomenal, but it's still the same movie.
but it's a cool way to watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
but it's
to your
the
comment that you
same-
made in the group chat, I actually did enjoy trying Kendrick Lamar's album backwards just to listen to it.
Yeah.
You know that we had this conversation.
That's
Yes,
a real
that's
thing.
why
I
I
thought that was a
mentioned
joke.
That was a real thing.
No, he really did it. He said, "Hey, instead of going from tracks 1 to 10, play it 10 to 1."
Oh,
And it was
wow.
it was still cool. And if that's the way the artist want to do it, you can't fight the artist.
And I don't
My
think
thing with that is that he's not
artistry.
charging anything for it, and neither was Kendrick, I assume.
He sold it as in
What?
reverse. He sold it in reverse.
Well, when you have Apple Music, it's all the same thing.
But still,
True.
he actually sold the CD in reverse
He
order.
resold it. Yeah, he
Yes.
because
Wow.
it was out. It was originally
Netflix sells their
he
TV
resold it.
shows. You can buy Orange New Black the season 1 on Blu-ray, even though it's on Netflix already.
But
You can make money.
there was no option. Like the option was to buy it on CD.
Apple Music title. Now,
But not back then. That was years ago. They wasn't letting you reverse it back then. There was no title. Wasn't even out at that time.
Yes, you crazy man.
Well, I wasn't using.
Don't
it.
make
I
this
had it.
about rap.
I
This is
bought
about
the
justice.
CD, the original CD. I wasn't buying it again. That's it. I wasn't buying it again.
But at that time, you had Google Music Play also, and that was a streaming service, and you had other things. You could have did that on that.
'Cause
Also.
we're not talking that long ago. Apple Music was
Yeah.
definitely had all those albums.
Mhm.
Kendrick Lamar's last
It
album
was
back
iTunes
we were
also.
talking like 3-4 years old.
That's
iTunes
it.
definitely
Wasn't
had-
Apple Music though, and they didn't let you change a lot of things at that point. There was a lot of functionality that they didn't let you really reshuffle. You had to like put it on a playlist separately.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. For
all
Apple
that.
Music, you could you could download for free if you have Apple Music. You could download the full album and the verse album separately and listen to them separately.
It wasn't Apple Music back then.
You guys are going off topic.
Really are.
Quick fact.
Cash grab.
Look.
I get it. It's a cash
Look.
I'm
grab.
about to edit
It's
it.
not a cash grab because it's free. Is my point.
I'm just not buying it.
No, you're not buying the regular version. It's fine.
Well, that no. Well,
When this comes out in 4K, I'm buying this in 4K
yeah.
because I saw it streaming and it looked good, but uncompressed 4K
Especially-
Ultra HD is gonna look great.
Especially if they got a fucking special steelbook or some shit.
Sure, by all
1000%.
means.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's
Look,
cool.
Batman was definitely on his Alonzo shit. I wanted to say that. Like he was on his Alonzo from Training Day because he was definitely surgical with that bitch. You know, my man was my
Batman
man
was
was
useless.
100% accuracy, hitting all those damn parademons.
Except for the one that got the flag.
I mean, it was 99% that point.
Yo,
Batman was
it's
useless.
crazy. Even in the anime, Batman served a great purpose. When I was watching him the whole time, I was kind of laughing because I'm like, damn, bro.
He just
Yo, he was like, yo, you looking like a backup singer, bro. You just in the background chilling. Now, mind you, great guy.
And blocking. He was blocking. He did a lot of blocking.
Oh, what?
So, quick
I
question before we run out of
I love
time.
this gauntlet, yo.
Otto.
Yeah, that was
hilarious.
cool. That was-
Otto, I'm asking you this in all seriousness.
yeah.
Did you like the explanation of Flash's time traveling and him reversing the boxes twice?
It's weird because I can't disconnect the knowledge that I already have about the Speed Force. So I knew what he was
felt
doing.
the same way. 'Cause he's
But
running.
somebody
Okay.
that I watched it with that didn't know shit about DC.
Mhm.
So as soon as the scene was over, I was like, so he was reversing time. She was like, oh no, I know, I get it. So I guess it did a good enough job explaining it. Why did his sneakers blow off? And then the
That
lady
too.
was like, yo, where's
Nah.
your
He
shoes?
did a little pirouette.
To explain that, I did like how they, I like how they mentioned, I can't really reverse time. I can't break the rules. I like how they went there.
Yeah.
Originally, when they were explaining the Speed Force, even back then, he couldn't go too fast because his clothes would rip off, and he always have to use his suit to even run, because if he ran fast enough, all his clothes would burn off. So I
No,
did
the
like how
clothes
they.
I'm fine with. My
That sounds
issue
exciting.
was the box falling and then him making the box come back up at the same time while he's running to it.
Mm.
And
Time
then-
travel, Papa. That's what we do. Speed
And
Force.
then at the end, when he ran to the Unity, it was done. It had formed, and then he made it unform, and like at the same time, it was.
Would it have been better for you if you used the glove and went like that, and then rewound it, and then Vision got back together? And shut the fuck up! It's time travel. Relax.
Nanotech makes more sense than the Speed
What's
Force.
the life
It was
opinion?
time travel. Yeah.
Nanotech makes more sense than the Speed Force. I'm sorry, it makes more sense.
Nah, but when it comes to the DC, anytime it goes to time travel and the Speed Force, they always make it more crazy than what it needs to be.
But we're running out of time. Thank you guys for joining. Like I said, I appreciate Zach getting a chance to release it in his way, his format. That was the biggest win for it all. The internet won again. Shout out to everybody listening and watching. Give us your grade. This has been grade pending, and we'll see you for the next thing, whatever we grade next. Later. The conversation continues, by the way.